Torrance, and then via the west side of the Green Line, then up through Westchester and what have you.
Those were broad corridors on that map, and that one's got the 405 all the way around.
Yeah, that's all I know right now. Yeah. We got a long ways to go on that one. Sorry.
Dan Garcia will be next.
I have a concern about how are you going to put the ADA compliant when you have a descending thing, descending, how are you going to provide the accessibility for people who have wheelchair?
Okay. I got ADA compliance.
I think I'll try to, and Dan, if I'm not right, then kill me.
Sure.
But I think he's concerned in terms of wheelchairs and boarding, and if there'll be delays, and it will work with the system or won't work, and what kind of accommodations are they going to be for the wheelchairs?
Okay, but like, is that?
Yeah. About boarding.
You know, what you see is what you have right now is going to be very similar. I mean, the capacity for wheelchairs is what, 2 per car on the system, and that's where we're at right now. You know, I think we're getting very close to a full redesign of our vehicles because you know that's one way we can address capacity issues. We have what might be considered luxurious rail cars here. Everybody sits backwards. They're you know, there's not like perimeter seating. Yeah, perimeter seating can pack a whole lot more people in there. On the red line, we took out 4 seats to just create an area that can be used for a variety of different things, bicycles, baggage, you name it, mobility devices, whatever. It seems to be a great area for standing passengers also. And we can put like 35 or 40 people where those 2 seats used to be. Where those 2 bench seats were. So we were trading 4 seats for like 30 people. It should prove something. You know, maybe we just take all the seats out. But we're you know, we have to start addressing a lot of issues with our cars because quite simply they weren't there when we first started. You know, back in 1980 we had this cookie cutter car that had a few accommodations because everybody who rode carried a briefcase or something like that, or a bag, or something they could keep on their lap. I don't know if you've noticed how many people carry stuff with them now. It's just incredible, these little rolling briefcases. And it's not like a person has one of them, they may have 2 of them. and they have a bag to put on top of them. It's just incredible. And that's hurting our capacity. So,
Dan, did we get your question?
it's pretty much going to be
Cover your question?
Yeah.
All right, good. Okay, well, Steve is going to probably want to know about how do we accommodate blocks of cheese on the train. I'll let him ask his question.
Steve.
You know, a while back, last year, there was a movement to restrict cyclists, not the cyclists per se, but the bicycles they tend to bring with them, to 2 per car, which creates an odd response because can you imagine being on the station and then having to run up and down and look for the car, you know, in the car to see which one you fit in?
Right.
In other words, it's sort of and my argument was we don't restrict other stuff. You mentioned stuff. And so we don't restrict the guy with a 300-pound block of cheese or the guy with a Christmas tree or baby carriages or kayaks or anything else other than the one thing that's a gap connector. So no one's going to get off the subway and ride their 300-pound block of cheese or their briefcase, you know, to the next bus station, the 1.5 mile gap that the bicycle can close.
Sure.
And so it's interesting to hear you talk about some of the behavioral infrastructure, if you will, or human infrastructure. Because we can't do much about ventilation silos, but we can certainly affect behavior. And the one thing I notice in other transportation systems is simple design, you know, affects behavior. And now I'm realizing that you're the key guy with us creating the bike car. In other words, stripping the furniture out of 1 car per train, so that anyone with something large, including even me being large, if I don't fit in the other car, I can just go into the big open car. So whether I've got a briefcase or suitcases, I'm coming from the flyaway, or I've got a bicycle, you know, it's what you know, if you've seen the buses in some of ski country, they strip them so they can get in with skis and boots and things. And so what are the chances of us just getting a bike car, like the end car, the first one or the last one, so we always know which one it is?
Well, that would, you know, as an example, if you take one car and strip it out or do something similar, let's say take 35% of the seats out, something.
Yeah.
That means, like on the red line, it would be the lead car half of the time, and
Right.
the trailing car the other half of the time.
Yeah.
And that doesn't necessarily mean it's always gonna be the same location of consist, because if we're cutting cars off the line, like we do at night, then if it's at the end, that's gonna mean that we're gonna have to keep that one out there. It may require us to take, make a double car cut or an additional car add. A little bit more problematic, but I think we have to go somewhere with the car design. And, you know, and maybe it's a little bit on everything. I just don't know. We can't do the Caltrain solution, which is
No?
a beautiful solution. You know, it's always was it the trailing car northbound and the lead car southbound? Is that it?
Something,
Is that it?
Yeah.
Something like
Close
that.
enough.
Make the car a different color, so it's easily, instantly recognizable?
No, because he just explained that the cars
Depending on
get
what
cut
direction
around
it's
and
going in.
you get rearranged. You got
Yeah.
3 two-car sets.
Yeah.
And sometimes you cut off a train car in North Hollywood, sometimes you cut off some there. And reality here is you've got a problem in terms of where you're gonna situate the car. Because if it's on one end and they gotta go from a 6-car train to a 4-car, you have logistical problems that probably we should apply to computer science engineers here and figure out. I mean, you know, we've often thought about putting the bike racks and the bike people on the top on the roof. like
Yeah,
in
that's a good
Europe,
idea.
right?
On the outside, Velcroed.
Right.
If we also put a bathroom in there, we'd have the operators figuring out which car, and they'd never lose that one. And then we could solve that other problem. And if we could get them to hold their breath, we could get through the ventilation tunnel. See, I'm solving problems for you.
There you are, there you are. Yeah, you know, the holding breath thing is kind of interesting. Maybe we ought to pursue that.
Yeah.